All right, got a 2013 Ford Escape EcoBoost. Going to be replacing the water outlet valve. You can see right here. So there are two cooling hoses with clamps. Went ahead and undid these connectors just so I could get a better look, and then move this out of the side. Got a couple 8mm bolts, and then we'll go ahead and start pulling it apart. Looks like we're gonna have to move a lot of hoses and other wiring to maybe make this a little bit easier as well. All right, in order to go ahead and unhook this style connector, you can actually see it has the grooves. So when you squeeze on this, it will actually release from the sides of the assembly here. So once you squeeze down or use a screwdriver to kind of get it to bow out, it will then pop out. For the other ones, this is more of just like a security clip. There we go. Once you have popped these guys out, this actually comes up and off. And then on the bottom side, you will have basically, it looks like a button. And when you push up on that, it will then release it from the other connector. So you just simply push up on it and it will open up, and then you're able to slide it off. Sometimes they get a little hung up and you got to kind of work them back and forth, but they will come out. I just put my little clips back so that way I don't lose them. Went ahead and I got the connectors undone on a couple of these. I'm going to go ahead and remove the air cleaner, 8 mils, or what's holding the actual case on, and then the filter inside there. The filter just pops out and you can set that stuff aside. And then back here is the screw for the intake tube. As you can see on these other bands, they actually have the the hose clamp portion of it is down underneath on the back side of them. So not very accessible. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take out that whole deal there. And then we'll pull this up and out. There is like a little charge pipe right here that for the air intake box, there's the strap that loops around. Once you have pulled that back, you can see that this actually is 2 pieces. Now, there's no bolts. You can see this indentation right here that's basically goes into a grommet down underneath there. You just have to He-Man the crap out of it to pull it up and out of there. And there's 2 of them. So you just, you got to King Arthur that thing like sword in the stone and just pull it out of there. You'll hear it pop when it releases. And then we'll just go ahead and finagle it up and out now that I have it loose. I did go ahead and disconnect this other fitting just so that way I would have the clearance for the pipe to come out a lot easier without breaking them, because they are plastic and they're expensive, so why break it? All right, so now that I got the air cleaner out of the way, as I mentioned, you can see those are the grommets that it's holding it down. And then there's another one that goes here that is more of a male fitting style than a female. You can kind of see the water valve a little better, maybe. No, not really. A lot of different wires and hoses that are kind of all intertwined in here. So we actually have the starter lead wire that runs right here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to continue removing some of these wires and hoses and get them out of the way so that way we can get full-on access to that water valve. In order to try to make it a little easier to visualize, I went ahead and I grabbed the part. So this is a OEM part from Ford. So you can see we got the actual sensor where the 2 8mm are sitting. That sits right on this location. And so you see the 2 mounting holes or the run-throughs are right here. So as you look a little bit deeper into it, you'll see that there's the bolt right there for one of them, and then the second one is right there in the back, and that's more of a stud and nut. So there is a sensor, as I can see right there, and then on our new part we can see that is actually this guy, so it has the clip that you would then pull out through there. So really we just have the hose on the back that we'll have to take off, and then the hose on the front that we'll need to remove after, of course, and then we'll go ahead and actually dismount it completely from everything and then get it off. Does look like that on the back side, this actually goes into the cylinder head side, so we will get that. We'll have to use a prying motion in order to get it to pop off. Hopefully it just comes out no problem and be able to get it back, but it felt like that would give you a better idea as to what we are working with here. So it will sit in there like so, and basically I need to have that much room to get it out from all those wires and hoses. All right, so there was another connector in the back here, same style as this green one that we had up front. I just have not put the little clip back on there as of yet. So now that I got that free, and what's annoying about them is that that one hose actually runs to like multiple hoses that we've already disconnected. There's that little bracket that was right here, two 10 mil nuts. I went ahead and I took that off in order to kind of give me a little bit more access to it. So as you can see, I got the sensor back there unplugged. I couldn't see it in order to see the style of connector, but it does spin. So I just rotated it until I could see it. And then it was just a press down and then pull out. And they have it right here. So I just pressed it on the top here, and then that way it will go ahead and do it. Now, when you go to remove that sensor, it is gonna leak coolant out. So just make sure that you're ready for that. So our biggest mission right now is to be this hose clamp on the back side, and we'll get that taken off from there, and then we'll do the same from up here. And once those two are undone, of course, we'll leak a bunch of coolant, we'll catch as much as we can, and then we can go ahead and remove the two fasteners that are holding it into the car itself. All right, so got the 13 millimeter stud. Man, I'm looking at what I'm pointing at, but not in the camera. All right, so 13 millimeter stud, 13 millimeter nut. Went ahead and got those off. You can see the hose clamp is loose back here in the back. It is one of the styles that will actually hold itself if you get it clipped correctly. So it loosens up, and then I went ahead and started prying that hose off, as you can see. Got the front hose off as well and went ahead and detached that. So with those two unhooked and unbolted, let's see what kind of action we're able to get by pulling on this guy. And remember, it had that larger orifice in the back, so we know we just need to basically pull it straight out in order to get it to release. I'm gonna see if I can do it without having to remove this valve from the front, but we may need to do that. It just kind of depends. So unfortunately, I only have two hands, and I need to have both of them to pull that out. Totally forgot about the lower radiator hose that needed to be taken off as well. Was getting hung up just with that top bypass hose. Two 8 mils, went ahead and got that actuator out of there, and that way I have a little better access to the hose clamp. And then we'll go ahead, and once that is removed and off, then we'll be able to pull the rest of the assembly out of there. Alrighty, so got that lower hose clamp off of there. Went ahead and I took that sensor out and then that stud, and I was able to pry this guy straight off. And now we will finagle it up and out. And as you can see, it's just got that O-ring right there. So now for the reverse process, we'll just put everything back together and vacuum fill it with coolant. All right, so putting it back together is just basically the same process in reverse, however. So I went ahead and I got the stud and nut and then the through bolt on there, reinstalled the sensor, plugged it in, hose in the back, got the hose clamp on there. You see how it has that little rectangle up there? So these are locking hose clamps. You get your screwdriver, you put it inside there and twist left or right, and then it should release it, popping it free and causing it to clamp down. So got that guy on there. Did put a new O-ring on the housing, as you should with everything, including, the solenoid actually got a new O-ring as well. It's kind of this fun shaped one with the little titty caucus on there. It was flat, and now you can actually see that it actually is bumping out, so we'll have a better connection there. So we'll go ahead and put those two 8mm inside there, and then go ahead and torque them down and finish putting our hoses back on there, and really just wrapping everything up. So taking in account, you know, we have the things, you got to put the hose in the back on there, and then all the other little vacuums that need to get clicked in there, and then we'll put it all back together and fill it up with coolant. Thanks for watching.